Okay, everybody. I was going to try to start around 8:30, which is about where we are. Let's see if we've got quite a few on, and we'll get started here. Yeah, we're doing pretty good so far. If you're just tuning in, let me know where you're from. We'll read off some of these. We've got Indy, Elizabeth. I think Elizabeth actually messaged me earlier, wanting to know if I was going to include Indy, which I will. Judy from Lyons, Beth from Vincennes, Karen says hi. So we've got several on. Let's see. Yeah, we're approaching 100. There's been a lot of chatter on the internet about this Thursday event and what it could mean for us. So I kind of want to go over that a little bit and explain to you why this could be. It could be a big event or it could be a non-event. And there's really one thing, and I'm going to kind of show you what we look at with that one event that I've talked about on some of my posts so far. I got Bowling Green and Olney on. Gosport is here. Denison, Illinois. Hello to you. Let's see. Terre Haute. Hello. Let's see. Claremont, Indiana. Clay City, Indiana. Good deal. Okay. So we got plenty on. Let's go ahead and get started. And as I'm going along, hopefully maybe it'll drum up a few questions, and I'll try to answer some of those here as we go along. Bloomfield, Ellisville, hello to all of you. So let's get started by actually just a real quick look back. We've actually come through a pretty quiet period, and so what we're looking at here would be storm reports from the Storm Prediction Center, NOAA, it's a division of NOAA. This is for last Friday. And look at that. The entire country had 7 reports of severe weather. Severe weather has to be 58-mile-per-hour winds or greater, 1-inch diameter hail or greater, or a tornado. There was 1 tornado in the entire country. That was on Friday. This was on Saturday. Only 70 reports total, only 4 tornadoes. And as you can see, it was very limited on the area. This was Sunday, 0 tornadoes. We had more wind reports than anything else, only 4 hail reports. That was Sunday. And then check this out. This was today. 5 reports total across the country. No tornadoes, 1 hail report, and 4 wind reports. So you got the idea. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, today have all been quiet. Tomorrow will be pretty quiet as well. We've kind of gone through this quiet period now, not only locally, but nationwide, where we've shut down the severe weather. But it is May, and May is typically the busiest time of the year for us, so it's time to get that cranking back up. So let's see. We got Jasonville on here. Let's see. Colmont, Washington. So what's going to be the setup? This is the setup. This is the weather map projection for Thursday morning. Low pressure near Omaha. Warm front making its way in here, and here comes the cold front. Now that's in the morning. So Thursday by the afternoon, the warm front, imagine it lifts north of here, and we go into the warm sector, and then that's the question, is what's going to happen after that warm front lifts north of the area. So let's go over some of these outlooks that we have. This is the official outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, from NOAA, and it has almost all of the 2-state area and what would be a slight risk for day 4, going out 4 days, for severe weather for Thursday and Thursday night. So, the Storm Prediction Center has been highlighting this area for a couple of days now, and they still have all of us highlighted for Thursday. This is one that I put on there, and Crystal says sound went off a minute ago. Can everybody hear me okay? If you can't hear me, let me know. We've changed some computers around here, so it might have messed things up a little bit, but it sounds like we're okay. Crystal says sound went off. Anybody else, let me know if the sound has gone off, but I'll keep on going here. Anyway, this is one I posted earlier. This is from the Colorado State University Learning Lab, which I've used these for 2 or 3 years now. I find them to be pretty accurate. First of all, the black dot, people have asked about that. Okay, people can hear me good. Okay, the black dot represents the highest probability of severe weather in the entire country. And this is for Thursday, and it's centered over roughly Lafayette, Indiana. You'll see max prob down there at 43.6%. When you see the hatched lines in there, this would indicate the probability of enhanced severe weather, meaning that hail could be 2 inches in diameter or larger. The winds could be 75 miles per hour or greater, or if there are tornadoes, they could be the stronger variety of tornadoes. That's what the hatch mark means. Notice it's more near and north of us, and that's kind of my thinking right now, is I think there's a greater risk farther north you go. But that map I've shown before, so actually I posted it earlier today. I haven't posted these, but this is the outlook for Thursday, and it has, of course, the entire two-state area. Now we can break this down into wind probability. So you can see the highest probability we have is a 15%, but it is wind over this area. This would be the hail probability. We are not in the highest hail probability. That is west of us, but we are still in one of the higher levels. And this was the tornado probability, 2% west of here. This may actually get shifted a little bit to the northeast, in my opinion, but this kind of breaks down where we see the risk areas for Thursday. Okay, let's see. Do we know if strong tornadoes are going to happen on Thursday, says Jessica. The probability of tornadoes for us is not real high, and basically this is an event where if storms develop, they will develop rapidly, and we could have all forms of severe weather, but we're favoring right now that the storms may not do much developing here, and I'll talk about that in a second. But to answer your question, Jessica, most likely no, not strong tornadoes, but we couldn't rule out some tornadoes in the vicinity of this area if the storms start to pop up. Yep. Okay, so this is the dew point forecast for around, let's see, this would be 5 p.m. on Thursday. I mean, those dew points, first of all, guys, it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid. Dew points 73 or 74, that's summer. That's summer wet. It's going to be very muggy. Those will be the highest dew points I believe we've seen so far this year. So we have the dew points high. These are the temperatures. Now, again, these are forecasts for around 5 p.m., 4 or 5 p.m. in the afternoon. 85, 86 degrees, 88 degrees, something like that. That's air temperature. And by the way, the record is 90, so almost record highs. This is the heat index, somewhere in the 92 to 95 range. So hands down, it's going to be the hottest day of the year. It's probably going to be the muggiest day of the year, and we'll have the highest heat index values we've had so far this year. So we know it's going to be hot. The question is, will that fuel some storms? So let's kind of go over that. First of all, I've gone over this before, if you have severe weather, you have to have what we call wind shear. That's a change in wind direction with height in this case. You can also have wind shear where you have a change in wind speed with height, which we'll have that too. So what we're looking at here is forecast again for the 4 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon time on Thursday. These are winds from near the surface, very close to the surface. And what happens is they point downward, so they're pointing into the wind. In other words, we have the southwest winds in this area on the afternoon on Thursday. Now, that's near the surface. Now, I want you to keep a close eye on this. That's the surface. I'm going to take you up 18,000 feet, and we're going to look at the wind. So get ready. Okay, there's where we are now. There's 18,000 feet. Clearly, we have wind shear. We have wind changing with direction as you get higher into the atmosphere. So we have the wind shear in place. That's the first thing we look at. Second of all, let's look at this thing called the lifted index. And I made some notes on this too. So this is, again, all of these are going to be projected for around 4 to 5 o'clock Eastern time in this area on Thursday. Those lifted indexers, the lower those numbers, the greater the risk of storms because the air can continue to rise. Those numbers are about as low as you'll ever see here. I did a little checking. Around most of our area, those lifted index values are about minus 12 to minus 13. That's really low. So we have a lot of the lift in the atmosphere, at least the lifted index numbers are supportive of that. I've talked about this before. This is called CAPE, which stands for Convective Available Potential Energy. The higher the numbers, or in this case, you know, those kind of orange colors into the kind of magenta, kind of the pink colors there, that's a lot of CAPE. As a matter of fact, I looked at that. The CAPE is between 4,500 and 5,000. That's a lot of storm energy. So we have wind shear. We have the temperatures. We have the dew point. We've got this the storm energy of the CAPE, which is in place. This is the significant tornado parameter, meaning that if everything comes together, where would be the more likely period or time and place to see the tornadoes? Now, this is forecast for around 2 p.m. 2 p.m. This is in central Illinois, and then this would be getting closer to about 4 to 5 p.m., but kind of slides down over this area. So even the models are saying, well, yes, and somebody, I think Jessica asked about, could there be strong tornadoes? According to our significant tornado parameter, yes, there could be some tornadoes because we have the shear in the atmosphere. Now, again, it's if everything comes together, and I'm going to explain why everything may not come together. But so far, obviously, if you're watching this so far, you're thinking, boy, Thursday could be interesting. This is our supercell composite. Supercells basically are storms that rotate. Rotating storms, they live longer, they can produce stronger winds, they can produce bigger hail, and yes, they can produce tornadoes. So our supercell composite at around 2 in the afternoon is pretty high over all of this area, especially central Illinois. This is the same composite at around 4 or 5 p.m., right over this area. So again, everything is pointing towards the atmosphere is going to be primed. I haven't really shown this one many times. We call this the EHI for short. Basically, it's in the lower levels of the atmosphere, and it's basically how much shear do we have, how much rotation do we have. And again, there's quite a bit. So again, that's right over this area. Those values, by the way, are about half of the scale. So you're up pretty high on the scale on this thing called the EHI. So again, everything looking pretty high. Here's the key. And this could, depending on if you like severe weather, and I know a lot of you do not, and you don't want that, this could be your friend. This could be the one thing that can keep us from getting into some bigger storms. On this map, it's called the SIN. Basically, it is the cap. Will the atmosphere be capped off? And that's the question. And that's the question that probably even we're going to have to take a look at as we get closer with every day. This is forecast for around 10 or about 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Strong cap. I mean, strong cap. Nothing going on in the morning on Thursday. Strong cap over us. This is forecast for about 2 p.m. That's still a pretty stout cap over this area. Meaning, what a cap is the air rises, and if it goes into an area where there's warmer air aloft, it'll hit that warmer air like a cap and fall back down. It won't let the air keep rising. A cap will shut things down. It'll shut down development of clouds, storms. It shuts everything down. That's a pretty stout cap still at 2 p.m. on Thursday. Now, there's what it shows, though, by around 4 to 5 p.m. Well, in this case, this model at least is eroding the cap. So what this would tell me is we would have nothing going on, and then boom, there may be some rapid development sometime after, say, 2 to 3 p.m. on Thursday. Again, that's based on this one model. The cap is starting to move away a little bit. That's going to be important. That's the one thing that we got to look at. Okay. So, little weather lesson here. What you're looking at here is an upper air sounding plot. Remember, weather is 3D. So, we have to look north and south, we have to look east and west, but we have to look up. We have to go up into the atmosphere. Weather balloons do that. They go up, they report stuff back. We get also soundings from aircraft. But this is a forecast sounding of what the atmosphere above our head, and I took Terre Haute as an example, the center of our area, would look like. And basically I want you to look at one thing. Over there on the far, it would be kind of in just a little past middle on the left-hand side. Notice there's a green line and a red line that kind of slant upwards. The green line is the dew point forecast as you go up, and the red line is the temperature forecast as you go up. Notice with the red line, it goes up a little bit and then it comes back. As it goes to the left, it would be cooling. But then see where it comes back just a little? That means there's a little layer of some warmer air or a little bit of a cap in the atmosphere. This is forecast, by the way, at around 4 o'clock, give or take, in the afternoon on Thursday. Now, this is one that I took from, when is this one? I took this one from this afternoon. Notice how the red line just continues over and there's no jog back. There's no cap over us right now. And what did we had some showers that developed today. We had a few thunderstorms that popped up, nothing big. That's what we have now, and you notice the difference. So I'm going to go in for a closer look. This is what's forecast on Thursday afternoon. Again, the red line goes up, and imagine as it bends back a little bit, that's where we have a layer of somewhat warmer air. And this is right when if the cap's going to give way, that's when it would be. But there's still just a little bit of a cap showing up in the sounding, and I want to show you what the other one looked like this is what we have going on now. See that? There is no cap. So that little warm layer aloft, that is going to be the key, and that could be a big key on what happens in this area. I'm going to show you a couple more numbers here. These are raw numbers, but I'm going to kind of go over these. So this is a forecast from the NAM model, and HUF is for home and field. This is forecast now in the afternoon hours, the one I have highlighted, the afternoon hours for Thursday. Go down there to where you see 2P and 8P Thursday, and I have highlighted under the surface cape. Notice those numbers there forecast 3,500 to about 3,300. That's a lot of storm energy. And then the next thing I'm going to highlight is you come over there to the lifted index, the LIX, and notice it's about -10 to -11. I mean, it's very low lifted index. So those two things would point towards possibly some strong to severe thunderstorms. So there's the cape is highlighted there. There is the lifted index highlighted, okay? Those both would indicate, very unstable atmosphere. I'm going to skip over and show you the next line. This is our amount of shear, and now that's not a tremendous amount of shear, but there's wind shear, changing wind direction with height, and again, forecast between 2P and 8P Eastern Time on Thursday. However, that's the one key right there. The more negative those numbers, the stronger the cap. And notice that in the morning we have a very strong cap. Even by 2 p.m. Eastern, that -48, there's still a cap going on. It pretty much kind of goes away between 2P and 8P, or gets weaker. If we're going to see development, it's going to be after that 2 o'clock time period. And again, does the cap hold or does it give way? That's the million-dollar question. So, and really, until we get a couple days or even a day before, we're probably not going to have a much greater idea on that. I can give you my opinion on it in just a second. But the one key, everything else is looking like severe weather, but will that cap hold on? So, I want to show you here, this is the NAM model forecast of what basically the radar would look like. And this is forecast for about 2 p.m. on Thursday. Notice nothing here. This is now forecast as we get into about 4 p.m. Notice way north, northern Illinois, Wisconsin, some development. This is now forecast for about 8 p.m. Mostly north, although it tries to develop a little bit right over about this area. Again, that's in the evening hours on Thursday. Next up, this is from the European model. This is forecast where there would be lightning. Obviously, the brighter those colors, those whites, that would be very strong thunderstorms. This is forecast now for about 4 p.m. on Thursday. And now this would be forecast for about 5 p.m. You see the idea, maybe stronger storms in northern Illinois, Wisconsin. This is forecast now for about 5 p.m. near Chicago. And then this would be forecast for about 6 p.m. Again, holding everything. This is showing the cap holding for us, but giving way to the north of this area. And now this would be now as we get into about 8 p.m. Again, we can't rule out a couple storms popping here, but the greater chance right now is looking like it could be north, and this would be getting now to about 9 p.m. And you're looking at those thunderstorms mainly north of this area. So I'm going to kind of give you my idea what's going to happen, and then we can kind of wrap things up for you. So here's basically what I think we're looking at. First of all, near record heat on Thursday. The record high is 90. We set that in 1991, and we're forecasting currently 88. It'll be the warmest day of the year, and it could possibly be near or record high temperature. High dew points mean it's also going to be very humid. I showed you those dew points, 73, 74. So not only is it going to be hot, it's going to be humid. Also, and I have to remind people this all the time, when we forecast temperatures, we forecast them and observe them in the shade. There's probably going to be a lot of sunshine on Thursday, especially initially, so it can be up to 20 degrees higher in the sun. So just take it easy Thursday. It's going to be the hottest day of the year, and if you're in the direct sun, it's going to be pretty hot out there. So, storm chances, and I'll take a few questions. We'll wrap up. So the severe chances, we look at a lot of things. I showed you the CAPE. It's very high. That would be a plus. I showed you the lifted index. It's about as low as you'll see here, so that is a yes. The shear, I showed you that. I mean, it's not, off the scale, a lot of shear, but there is definitely some changing wind with height. That would be shear, so that's a yes. The temperature, yes. Warmest that we've seen so far this year. Obviously, when the temperatures are that warm, you have more heat energy in the atmosphere. And the dew points, as a general rule, when I'm looking at severe weather chances, dew points probably ought to be at least close to 60. We're talking dew points over 70. All of those things point to yes, there would be severe weather. The key is that cap and what's going to happen with that, and can we break that cap. So the best chances, I think, are going to be farther north. This may clip some of our northern counties, but you saw where the future radar and the lightning detection showed more of it north of our immediate area. So there's two scenarios. It could basically be a sunny and hot day and humid with no storms. I mean, we literally could see no storms developing if that cap holds, and this has happened many times around here. If the cap breaks, what will happen is there will be rapid development of those thunderstorms. Sometimes this almost kind of looks like a sounding we would call a loaded gun sounding, in which basically you're just waiting, and just like a gun goes off quick, the storms can break through the cap, and once they break the cap, it's the storms are going to go crazy. So basically, it looks like an all or nothing event, in my opinion. I think the cap holds, and we have a sunny, hot day. We may just get a few of these puffy cumulus clouds, and that's it. Or if storms develop, and right now if they develop, it probably wouldn't be till after 2 p. Eastern, they could rapidly become severe. And that's why all of these outlooks that you've seen from Storm Prediction Center, from the ones we've been posting, are highlighting this area because there is a threat of severe weather if the storms can develop based on that cap. So that's basically what we're looking at. There's one factor that could hold this. I'm kind of, from everything I've looked at, leaning towards I think that cap is going to hold. I think it's going to hold pretty good. I think the farther north you go, there's a better chance, and I think across this area, we may get through the day without much action, and that would be good because the atmosphere is going to be loaded up. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Okay, so let me see. Amelia says, will we get any straight line winds? Are we safe from getting straight line winds, she said. This would be a setup where you would be able to get some strong straight line winds, again, if these thunderstorms develop. Basically, if these storms develop, all hazards, which would be hail, wind, and tornadoes, would be in play. That would be the possibility. Wind would probably be the highest probability, though, over the hail and the tornadoes, the strong winds. Terry says, thank you, you're quite welcome. Let's see. My homeroom is so lucky they got to meet you on a field trip while I was there sick. Well, I was too sick to go, and you're one of my favorite meteorologists. Well, Clarissa says, Clarissa, I am sorry that I missed you at the field trip. Might have been in Park County. I was up there last week for a conservation day. Let's see, we have planned yard sale for Thursday, Friday. Should we reschedule, says Madison. I don't think I would, Madison, at least now, because again, if the cap holds, it's just going to be a sunny, hot day. I didn't mention Friday. So here's the thing, too. Once this goes through on Thursday, there is still a chance we could get a few storms later Friday, late Friday, Friday night. Some of those could be strong. We'll worry about that when we get a little closer, but the potential on that one doesn't look as big as the potential on this one if the cap can give way and these storms develop. 50-50 chance of cap staying, says Brandon. I would say 70-30 stays. That'd be my say. If I had to say right now, I'd say everything I've looked at, I'd say 70% it holds, 30% it doesn't. So I think there's a much better chance it holds and we get by without much problem. But, there's still that small chance. What will this affect the Indianapolis Friday around 5 p, asked Terry. So basically what I think will happen is if the cap holds and we don't get any big storms on Thursday, then chances are this front's going to stall closer to us, and I think we have a greater chance of some showers and storms on Friday. If we get some bigger storms on Friday, typically that will push the front farther south, and I think our storm chances are lower on Friday. So if we don't get anything Thursday, I think we have a little better chance to get some stuff Friday, vice versa. And right now, I would say the chances Friday look a little farther south. So right now, I would say at this point, I don't think it would have a big impact on Indy on Friday. Let's see. Greg says, thank you from Odin. Thank you, and thank you for following. I appreciate that. So you think the cap is going to stay in place, says Elizabeth. I'm about 70-30 that it probably is going to hold. But I'm going to keep updating you on here. Be sure to follow along. But I'm 70-30 that it holds. We'll see. Let's see. If the cap doesn't hold, do you think this is going to be a life-threatening big event, says Lily? A more so life-threatening big event. No, I think, Lily, we've seen events like this before when the atmosphere gets loaded, and then if the cap breaks, you get these rapid development. And the thing is, they'll rapidly develop. They won't last long. They may start developing by 3 p.m., and by 8 p.m., a lot of it's already gone out of the area. But I will say that if the cap does break, there could be there could be some pretty strong storms. I mean, you saw all those numbers if you're watching this. So, I mean, everything else is in place. You know, I mean, I don't want the severe weather. My fingers are crossed we keep that cap in place. Let's see, anybody else on here? Let me make sure I got everybody. Whoops, got the wrong mouse there. Okay, so that kind of gets it. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. At least I've got some of the questions answered, I think. So that's kind of an idea. Here's the forecast, by the way. Let me wrap things up. So again, 88 Thursday, almost a record. If we develop storms, it would be late. Notice Friday's still 86 and 82 on Saturday, and it looks fine as well. And then we cool things off a little bit as we head into Sunday and Monday with temperatures back in the low to mid 70s. I mean, it's still not chilly or anything, but overall it looks like we're in pretty good shape. Let's see. Lily says, "Thank you, Jesse. I have such bad storm anxiety, and you helped me get through that." Yep. A lot of folks do. I know, thunderstorms are scary. This time of the year can be as well. So, I'm going to keep posting some things, some graphics and things as we get closer. And if need be, we'll do another one of these tomorrow night. But almost sure bet I'll probably do one Wednesday night just to update you since it's the day before. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Prayers the cap holds. Yeah, we want this one to hold and not let these storms develop. So and we've seen it happen many times. So let's hope that's the case this time as well. What do you think the tornado risk is, Elizabeth? The tornado risk is low, but it's not off the table. I think the wind would be the higher risk, but there is wind shear, so the storms could rotate. So the tornado risk is not zero in this one. But it's an interesting one because we can't tell you 100%, yeah, we're going to have storms, because it literally could be a day where it's just sunny and hot and you don't even get a lot of cloud cover. Or it could be a day where it's like that and then boom, between 2 and 5 or 6 o'clock we get a rapid development of storms. And we're still, 3 days away, so we can't really make that call yet on that. So, okay. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up, everybody. I'll post some more stuff. We'll get new outlooks later overnight. I'll post some stuff tomorrow, probably, unless I see a big change in this. I won't do a Facebook Live tomorrow night, but count on one Wednesday night just to set the stage. Whether it looks like we're going to get the storms or not, I'll probably do one Wednesday night just to get everybody ready for what the setup looks like. So, anyway, let's see. Would there be any hail if the cap doesn't hold and we get storms? Says Kay. Yeah, Kay. One thing that would concern me a little bit about that is there is some drier air aloft, and so that could also help us to generate some of the hail with those. So yeah, I mean there could be some decent sized hail in these as well. Basically, all of the hazards, the wind, the hail, and even some tornadoes would be possible if that would break. So. Anyway, hey, thank you guys. All of the nice comments you guys are making on there, I greatly appreciate that. Thank you guys for following along, and we'll be back no later than Wednesday night with a Facebook Live, and if need be, we'll do one tomorrow night as well. So again, thanks everybody, and I'll have more posts between now and then. You know that.